So this is all, like I said, it's all diagram, but then we still have to start to develop this thing into more of a workable design. What you should have had is, like for the floor plan, perhaps you start to figure out where the circulation space might be. So we might have a room like this, but we need to get to it somehow. So perhaps we will take this thing and whatever that space is, we'll do that, but then we'll move this green space or the pinkish space down so that that tends to create a space that might be used for circulation. Okay, don't forget that you're not going to be able to cross through every space, so we've got to create a corridor space. All right. After we do that, we need to start to make this thing into a more believable plan, right? So what that means is that you are going to give these walls thickness. And there's certain things about these walls that always tend to bug me a little bit, which is that, and this is partially because of Rhino, I believe. So when we have this thing as a regular floor plan derived from cubes or boxes in Rhino, what we usually do is say, hey, let's make this into a 6-inch wall or a 5-inch wall or something. So we offset the walls in, right? So what happens is that we create an offset into these walls for each space. What that tends to do is to create this area that has double walls. So if this was a 5-inch wall, now the space between the two adjacent spaces is 10-inch wall. So you have some areas of thick wall and some areas of thin walls, which is kind of strange. Okay, so what we kind of need to do is to basically try to figure out which wall is dominant and which one is subordinate. Okay, there's two ways to do this. You could either split the connection, so we have the exterior wall like so, and we'll leave that one off for now. So this might be the exterior wall. So what we can do is to say that let's split this where it would have been a 5-inch that makes a 10-inch wall. Let's get the walls centered, so maybe we split it into 2.5 inches on both sides of this wall. The outside wall will still remain in its 5-inch original thickness, but now we have these walls that are split. So that the thickness is shared. So this will be a 5-inch wall, that will be a 5-inch wall, that will be a 5-inch wall, that will be a 5-inch wall. So we got to try to figure out where this wall all lines up. So we're going to start to shift these volumes in or out to make that happen. Another way might be to take this thing and figure out which one is the more dominant wall. So if I take this thing right here, we could just draw the exterior wall first, and just for ease I could say that this is the wall that I want to follow. So now all I have to do is follow that original wall spacing. And bring it in one side or the other. Just simply one side or the other. Okay, what that means is that I have a choice of taking the center line or just saying that this part of the wall is going to be that part and kind of shift the wall one side or the other. Even the exterior walls as well right here, that kind of shifted, right? So that means that the wall is, you could take the center point of the wall and just say split difference. So we have 2.5 inches on this side and 2.5 inches on this side. Or wherever the wall might be, let's say this is no longer center, what we might do is to say that I'm just gonna take this whole wall and put it all on this side of the common wall. So the whole thing becomes 5 inches, right? But I'm not taking this point anymore. Instead, I'm going to go one side or the other of that common shared wall. All right, so keep that in mind when you start to make this thing into a volumetric digital model, and you want to start creating spaces out of it. Don't just simply offset the walls so that they all have this 5-inch wall, because you are going to create that double wall thickness, and that has to be avoided. Okay.